Use the table below to answer the following questions. What is the probability that someone is from the US? Well, out of this group, if I separate out the total columns, make it a little bit more readable of a table here. The total number of people listed from the United States is 42, and there's 81 individuals in this study altogether. So 42 over 81, that's 0.519. What is the probability that someone has at least 2 children? At least 2 children, you need to be careful. That means 2 or more. You don't want to just grab the probability of exactly 2 children. So 2 or more, there's 33 who have 2 children, and there's 15 that have 3 or more out of the 81. So 33 and 15 is 48. Divide that by 81, and that gives 0.593. What is the probability that someone is from the US and has 1 child? So from the US and has 1 child. That is, since it's an and probability, that's when we look at the intersection of those 2 groups. So there's 14 individuals that have 1 child and are from the US. And that's out of 81 total in the table. So 14 over 81 is 0.173. What is the probability that someone is from the US or has 0 children? So the or tells us to add things together, but be careful of any overlap. So from the US, there are 42, has no children, there's 10, but that 42 counts each of these items, and that 10 counts these 2. So this 2 gets counted twice. So the result here is 42 plus 10, but minus 2, which is in the intersection. So same thing as 42 plus 8 out of 81, and that gives me 0.617. Given that the person is from the US, what is the probability that they have 3 or more children? So when we're given a probability, so we know something about our situation, we need to restrict ourselves to just that portion of the table. The rest of the table makes no difference to us. We know this person is from the US. So given that the person is from the US, now from that group alone, what's the probability they have 3 or more children? So from that group, there are 10 that have 3 or more children out of 42. And that's our probability. So 10 over 42 gives me 0.238. Now, given that the person has 1 child, what's the probability the person is from the US? So again, we're given something about our situation. So we need to restrict ourselves to just that part of the table. So in this case, we're given that a person has 1 child. So this is the only part of the table we're concerned with. Now, what's the probability they're from the US? It's 14 over 23. Which is 0.609.